What's up, everybody? Welcome back
Yo,
to another episode of The Voice of Reason. We are your hosts. I am Jeremy Baker. With me, of course, is Mike Falino. How you doing, Mike?
good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm actually really good. We got a great show lined up for you today. Taylor Swift is triggering MAGA again, just by existing, apparently.
She's
Um,
melting some bro flakes.
I know, right? It's just blowing their minds by just being herself. McCarthy quits from the GOP is a complete free fall. They've decided to impeach Biden with absolutely no evidence whatsoever. They're like, or they're going to investigate anyway.
They still don't have
Whatever.
the evidence, so they're taking the first step to take the second step, which will lead to the third step.
I
Maybe.
know it's just such an act of desperation. You could tell they're at the end of it. They really are running out of ideas. Mike Johnson, he thinks he's Moses, and we have a video of that.
Literally.
That Mike has not seen, and I'm actually really excited. He's going to blind review this video. It should be really good. Trump continues his mental decline. His lawyers suck. I don't know what they get paid for or how they pass the bar exam. We have a lot of other stuff too. Giuliani got hit with his 140. That's a soul crushing amount, and he deserves every bit of it. Every single bit of it. I'm so glad. I'm so happy for Miss Shea and Miss Moss for their victory in court.
Hopefully they see it.
The last topic we're going to talk about is the situation in Texas, where a woman had to flee to get a life-saving abortion, a child that her and her family both wanted, but unfortunately the baby was diagnosed with a disorder where the child would not have survived more than maybe a couple hours, maybe a couple days. But no, Ken Paxton is an asshole, so we'll talk about that. But first, this video I don't know when this came out, if it recently came out, but I caught it today. It's basically, this is off topic, but I had to show this. Is an in-your-face ad on why thoughts and prayers don't save lives. Okay, and this is so harsh, but it's so in your face, but it's so on point that we just had to show it. It shows it at the end. I want to say Mothers for Democracy or something like that. Let me play it, but you'll get the point.
Please, God, save her. Do something. Save her. Please save her. Please.
My thoughts and prayers are with you.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts.
Prayers. Thoughts and prayers!
Tell me that is not on point. I mean, every time there's gun violence in America, what are Republicans offering? No action, but plenty of thoughts and prayers. So, but thoughts and prayers don't stop bullets, or they don't prevent people from getting killed either. What do you think, Mike?
I think it is about time that we stop shying away from being direct about some of the nonsense that creeps into our country to the point where it becomes or affects policy. Okay. Yeah. You can be religious, you could pray, you could offer your prayers and thoughts all you want. But thoughts and prayers don't actually affect the real life, because if they did, you wouldn't go to a doctor. You wouldn't even clean the cut you get when you get cut, because you wouldn't believe in bacteria. So the point is, sometimes you have to take action. And that ad, unfortunately, it's true. Like, there's no way around it. We have to take action to stop the things that are causing death and harm and fear and slaughtering our children and innocent people.
And to me, this is not a knock on Christianity by any means, or religion, or prayers. But when it comes to the physical world that we live in, we have to take action in order to, I mean, and we're talking about the future generations of the future leaders of our country, the future, the future, or preventing them from getting killed. I can't believe the number one killer of guns in America, or number one killer of kids in America, is guns. It's tragic, and I can't believe that's how it is in the United States. I mean, they're building, what do you call, ballistic barriers in classes for people to hide behind if there's an active shooter.
Bulletproof backpacks.
Right, but they won't do anything about gun laws. And we're not talking about taking your guns, so don't go freaking out on that one. We're just talking about making common sense laws that prevent people that might be mentally unstable or completely unfit to own a gun. Just because you're a certain age and you have a clean criminal background doesn't mean you should own a freaking gun.
There's two ironies in this. Let's see if I could remember them both. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is the Republicans want to allow guns to just proliferate, and they don't want to do anything except offer thoughts and prayers.
Mm-hmm.
But who are they harming? They're actually harming themselves, because people are starting to get sick of the people in power, Republican Congress, doing nothing to prevent children from being slaughtered in school. The second irony is that the kids that survive this are going to grow up, and they're not going to go, man, remember that time we saw all of our friends get slaughtered, and then we had to do gun drills for the rest of our lives, and we're all triggered by fireworks now? Maybe we should just let guns continue. No, those people are going to be running the government when you're old and crotchety, and then you're going to see guns be banned completely because an entire generation is being tortured and tormented by guns.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, that might be why they're trying to stop the younger generations from voting. Let's see how that's working later in the show.
Yeah, exactly. You should not have to go through an active shooter drill like it's a normal thing. I graduated. What did you graduate high school?
99. Ooh.
All right. I believe I can't remember. I think it was the late 90s when the ban on assault rifles was lifted.
Yep.
I never once in my entire life, and I went to high school in 3 different countries. My freshman year was in Germany, my sophomore year was in California, and my senior year I was here in Pennsylvania. I'd never once been through an active shooter drill. But apparently now it's just like a normal thing. We can't have a functioning society where our kids are scared to go to school.
It's interesting you say that, and we shouldn't take up too much time on this, but I just want to say one quick thing, because you brought up the difference in generation.
Yeah.
When I was in school, especially my senior year of high school, I remember someone calling in a bomb threat every
that
couple
happened
of
to
weeks.
me a couple times.
Every couple of weeks, but we knew that it wasn't real because it was a bunch of stupid kids doing it, and half the time they left a message on the answering machine in the school, so everyone knew who it was. We knew it was a bunch of bullshit just to get out of class. And it's funny looking at it now, and knowing that there was never any time we had a bomb threat called in, any fear in any of us, because there was no precedent. Now, if a kid's sitting in class and a door slams loud outside, they're gonna freaking shit themselves and jump under desks.
I actually remember one bomb threat. For some reason, it's like a core memory. We were living in Virginia. I must have been maybe 9 or 10 years old. We were so happy because it got us out of school.
Yes,
we went to the library and chilled for the whole day. We didn't have to do class or nothing. We were like,
half of us snuck out and just left for the day.
I know, but now it's not like that. Now kids have to go to school worrying about somebody's going to run in there with an AR-15 and a bulletproof.
Anyway, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Keep sending them and not doing anything, and you're going to end up getting a total ban, and it's going to be your own fault. If you guys are rational about it,
which they're not,
maybe we'd stop talking about it. But until you're rational about it and willing to help out and do anything about it, nothing's going to change. Sorry, we're talking about this commercial a lot longer than I wanted to.
So yeah, I know, but it's so tied to everything today.
It is. It really is. All right. So MAGA heads are exploding. Taylor Swift named person of the year, and they are losing their damn minds.
Yep.
Let me see. The one influencer here, I forget, Joe Posobiec, I want to say his name. It'll show his name on here. Same guy. Came up. Yeah, I believe he's the guy that came up with the Pizzagate conspiracy, so he's freaking out.
So he's on the level.
Yeah, how are these people taken seriously? Seriously. I mean, really? All right, let me play this video and we'll go on from there.
what we're seeing is actually a very advanced, and as you say, psychological operation whereby in the Swifties, along with how the same way that Travis Kelce is pushing the vaccine on everybody, he's become a vaccine shill, she is going to shill for Biden, and she is going to turn her massive, and to be fair, it is an extremely massive fan base for Biden.
The Taylor Swift girl boss psyop has been fully activated. From her hand-selected vaccine shill boyfriend, to her dink lifestyle, to her upcoming 2024 voter registration for Democrats on abortion rights, it's all coming. Posobiec was so triggered by Swift that he posted again, linking a video of Taylor Swift talking about her frustrations with Marsha Blackburn's conservative voting record.
It really is a big deal. She votes against fair pay for women. She votes against the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, which is just basically protecting us from domestic abuse and stalking. She thinks that if you're a gay couple, or even if you look like a gay couple, you should be allowed to be kicked out of a restaurant. It's really basic human rights, and it's right and wrong at this point, and I can't.
We've used that video or portions of that video many times, and it's such an important video because when you see the whole thing in context, her parents are convincing her for the betterment of her career and her safety not to take on with just her voice, just her opinions, just to voice her opinion about how horrible the right and the Republicans are. And right there, when she points to herself about stalking, like almost every female celebrity out there, she was riddled with stalkers, and that is scary shit. Do I need to bring up Selena? Do I need to bring up any other people that have suffered from stalkers? And she's right. She's looking at the basic human rights being stripped away, and there's only one party trying to do it. But then you look at the people like that influencer guy who's talking about planned psyops and all that nonsense. No, guy. Again, your side are the ones that are using rhetoric and disinformation to try and get a whole bunch of morons to vote a certain way. Taylor Swift, has never said vote for Joe Biden. She said vote.
Right. She just said
because we know that if everyone on every side votes, we outnumber you.
Why don't you go over the overlays that you made up for Taylor?
All right, I'll hit the first one.
Time to go. Why they're so intimidated by her?
This is pretty straightforward. So Taylor Swift snags 35,000 new registered voters. This was in leading up to the last election we had this November. So by the numbers, 35,252 people newly registered to vote on Tuesday, a 23% jump from last year's National Voter Registration Day, and the largest since the 2020 general election year. Gee, I wonder what was happening then, according to vote.org. Some bullet points. There was a 115% increase in 18-year-olds registering compared to last year. 157,041 eligible voters visited the site. Okay. When you piss off a generation,
right,
we get activists. Okay. Right. Vietnam basically caused the hippie movement. Trump is causing the holy crap we have to save democracy movement. And it's not just about democracy, and it's not just about a generic we have to vote, trying to get people to vote left or right because we're on this side and that. No, it's about why. So let's look at this. This is about abortion access at the state level after Roe v. Wade was overturned. All right. Where it's permitted in yellow. Where it's restricted or banned in red. Interesting. That's the entire South. And in purple is to be determined, which means it still could go either way. And in some of those states, it is not necessarily going to go the right way, the way history hopes it goes.
Right.
But what does it really mean? Well, you got to look at who's getting pissed off. So a greater share of new young voters are Democrats, which is interesting because MAGA is the one trying to be patriotic and get everyone out to vote. But look who's actually registering. Voter registrations suggest a backlash against the Supreme Court Dobbs decision. So 446,243 registrations pre-Dobbs. Unaffiliated. Look at the Democrats. Look at the Republicans. Those numbers are pretty close. Democrats, Republicans almost equal the unaffiliated. Now, 52,321 registrations post Dobbs, and it's cutting the, I mean, that's pretty, it picked up another 10%. So it ate into the Republicans, it ate into the unaffiliated, which, as much as we joke about the unaffiliated, like, how do you make a decision at this point? But that's because we always talk about it from a MAGA Trump perspective. When you look at the issues, people care about abortion rights.
Right. And when we talk about later, the woman from Texas who has fled her state to get an abortion. So we will be talking about that. I mean, I think that situation alone is going to push a lot of people over to the Democratic side.
Yep. Now, let's look at it race-wise, because no matter what the right wants to say, race is a factor. Race, ethnicity, national youth vote. So this is a vote based on racial divide on youths. The choice for the House of Representatives in the 2022 midterm election. That's pretty stark. So
that really is. Holy shit.
Like, people like to say that the Latino vote is more Republican leaning. Yes. Certain age, not the youth vote, because what happens, extreme religious views, extreme family traditions and cultural traditions, they soften and lessen the more your classmates who are gay grow up with people and everyone loves each other and they don't want to watch their life get screwed. They don't want to do all these things. So if you really look at it, the youth are changing everything, and the right is doing everything in their power to discourage voting in general, but especially among the youth, because they are losing the future through their actions.
Well, unfortunately, their tactics on the right is they're trying to subvert the vote via gerrymandering,
which they're losing,
you know, removing election rights, all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Like, this is just a preview of what's coming over the next year. But yeah, here, all right, let me play the next video. Is Megyn Kelly losing her mind.
The faux outrage is amazing.
I love the faux outrage. Like, she actually gives a shit about any of this stuff. So, all right, Megyn Kelly, I think this is from her show, but it's from TYT. I got the clip, so let's play
that. A group that NGO Monitored has described as highly political, presenting a highly biased view of the Israel-Palestine war, ignoring any Palestinian responsibility for hardship, and contributing to the demonization of Israel. That is the group Taylor Swift thought it might be fun to help raise money for, attend the fundraiser for, and she owes Israelis and Jewish Americans an apology. And I hope they boycott her events until she issues it, because attending this thing was wrong. It was wrong. Do some Googling. See what they do in Gaza to gays. See about women's rights in Gaza, Taylor.
Because
I'm sorry, I'm laughing the whole time.
Do some Googling.
It was wrong. This is so pathetic. Stop it, please, Megyn Kelly. Like, you actually give a shit about any of this stuff. So
it's funny because they will push that Israel is actually quite friendly to the LGBTQ community, as if that's a selling point, when here in the country, they'll be like, man, we got to stop them liberals from pushing them gay rights. Which is it, jackass?
I don't make up your mind. Do you care in one country and not the other? What do you want to do?
It's just funny. So they're so afraid of Taylor Swift because she is a white woman a blonde white woman who isn't a Republican. And she is not pushing extreme agendas. She's pushing basic human rights, democracy, and human decency. And they hate her for it.
She has power because her family, her fan base listens to her because she's built a legit following. Not a following of crazy psychopaths, but she's built a following. And she wants them to do the right thing, and she wants to do the right thing. So I'm glad she's speaking out and doing that. And I'm sorry that she has to go through thoughts and prayers, that all the stuff she has to go through because of the right, just for existing, just for trying to encourage young people to vote. That's all she's doing. And they are
for being a patriotic American.
Right. That's all it is. So, all right, moving on, because the next topics are fun, even funner. So Kevin McCarthy has dropped out of the race entirely. And decided, or not out of the race, but he's decided to leave Congress. He's going to leave by the end of this month, I guess. He's done.
Later, asshole.
Which, I mean, really, Are we surprised at all at this move? I mean, the embarrassment. How many rounds of votes did he have to go through to
15?
get speaker? And then he
15.
lasted like a few months, and then they kicked him out. Come on, it's not. He wasn't Speaker of the House. He was just a body in a chair for a few months to do Trump's bidding. So
He was keeping the
him and Mike
QAnon
Johnson
shamans
do
chair
have
warm.
one thing in common, though. They
What is
both
that?
didn't really speak about Donald Trump, and then they went down. Remember Kevin McCarthy after Jan 6 said about him, and then Mike Johnson said we
Yep.
can't impeach Joe Biden. We
You're
have no
right.
evidence. All of a sudden, both of them go bend the knee to Donald Trump.
Yep.
Come back now that the plan is completely reversed,
Yep.
doing the opposite. But
It's
here's
funny.
an interview with Kevin McCarthy. Just whatever.
Will Donald Trump be the nominee?
Yes. And the Republican Party? Yes. And if Biden stays as the nominee for the Democrats, I believe Donald Trump will win. I believe the Republicans will gain more seats in the House and the Republicans will win the Senate.
Can he count on your support?
Yes.
That's an endorsement.
I will support the president. I will support President Trump.
Would you be willing to serve in a Trump cabinet?
In the right position. Look, if I'm the best person for the job, yes. Look, I've worked with President Trump on a lot of policies. We work together to win the majority. But we also have a relationship where we're very honest with one another.
That relationship with Trump has become a central part of McCarthy's own political story.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters.
His stark reversal after the January 6 insurrection, going from blaming Trump to standing with him.
They gotta stop with the red wave bullshit. It doesn't exist. Okay. Every election since Donald Trump took office has been a shit show, clown
Yes.
circus explosion
Absolutely.
of poop
Yes.
for the Republican Party.
Yes.
And it
Yes, they
look
have.
at the funding numbers. The Republicans aren't just getting outfunded. Some of them are just are being defunded. Some of them, their donors are just like, no, I'm not giving you money. You
Right,
are
and
screwing yourself as a party.
Right, and the nightmare is if Donald Trump's showing his hand. Like I'm going to show you a message, a Truth Social post later. I mean, they're showing their hand. They're telling us what they're going to do, and it will be. I mean, they're going to turn us into World War II Germany. Basically, is the best way to put it. That's their plan. They want to turn us into a Christian nationalist, white male dominant, militant fascist nation. They really do.
What
That is
scares
their
me
plan.
is people like a Kevin McCarthy. They're not part of the Christian nationalist movement. It's funny. It's actually ironic because the privilege that they say doesn't exist in the real world.
Yeah.
They're trying to build a world where they will benefit from that privilege as a bare minimum. They'll play the role as pious Christians and whatever, but what's really got them on the side is that they will maintain and probably increase power under Christian nationalist society. Them as white, straight men, because they could just pretend like they do now that some of them are straight. But they'll benefit from the extremists taking over because it won't negatively affect them at all. It'll only benefit them. So a person like a Kevin McCarthy who gets booted out of speakership and gets supplanted by a true Christian nationalist, that's what's the scariest thing, that a placeholder jackass got replaced by an architect of Christian nationalism. That terrifies me.
Yeah, exactly. And let's not forget Mike Johnson had a hand to play in overturning Roe v. Wade too. He was one of the architects of that as well.
Yep.
All right. So moving on for Kevin McCarthy, we got America's mayor. Rudy Giuliani hit with just like I said, a soul-crushing blow. $148 million. I laughed so hard when I heard that because even the lawyers only wanted $24 million a piece. The jury was like, F this guy.
not the judge. Well, think about that. No one asked for it. The judge didn't put their hand in. The jury who saw the evidence went, that's not enough.
No, they're like, yeah, we need some extra on here. So
they literally crushed
why
him.
though? Why they did that? Because they had to stare at this haircut for the
what is
entire
that?
thing.
I have no doubt that is Hitler's mustache.
Right on his head. Times Person of the Year.
What
America's mayor. So what the hell kind of haircut is that? That is just
what am I
awful.
looking at? What
I know. It's not, that's a new look. It's a new look. So anyway. So all right, well, I guess it's a good time. So these guys also in the GOP have a traveling fascist circus. I'll pull that up. I'll pull that slide up now so everybody can see this. It's called Turning Point USA. So this is a road show where all of these people go to speak, and people pay actual money, not monopoly money or fake whatever tokens, actual money to see these people speak. We got Vivek Ramaswamy, Steve Bannon, Kerry Lake, Don Jr., Kim Gibb, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Mike Lindell, Jesus Christ, Alina Habba, Roger Stone, Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson. My God.
It gets worse.
It gets worse as you go down the list. Why would you pay money?
I'm going to put out a plea. If anyone wants to donate some tickets to an event near us, we will go and we will cover it from the inside. We will likely get kicked out, possibly arrested, but we are willing to do that to show you the gross, despicable shit show that is the Republican traveling circus.
It's funny that you say that because I have a picture of one of these. I don't even know how to describe it. I'll let the overlay speak for itself. So, yeah, this is the entire MAGA movement summed up in one pic. So on the left, we got a guy who thinks the election was stolen. On the right, we have someone that says the Holocaust never happened. A Holocaust-denying Jewish woman kissing an election-denying insurrectionist. If anybody wants to make sense of that somehow, we are open to comments, but I just don't see.
I am not kidding. We would love to take the next level of our show in a ridiculous direction, and the best way to do that is to get us interacting with some of these people. So please, please help us.
Right. All right. So next video you have not seen.
Oh no.
Mike Johnson, and I want you to give the reaction when you're done. But this is Mike Johnson saying that this is so funny, dude. Oh my God. You ready? Let's go.
I didn't hear a word of that.
You didn't?
Nope, not one sound.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I tried to message you. I guess it didn't go through.
Oh my God, it played on my end.
I didn't hear a single thing.
That's crazy. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it played on the show. But anyway, yeah, it's Mike Johnson. That's awful. Mike Johnson pretending that he's Moses, saying that God spoke to him, saying he was gonna. That's why he should be speaker.
I've read about that, so I never saw the video. So it's a shame. I mean, it's probably not a shame because I'd probably be more angry than I am. But obviously, any opinion I could have on it, I read enough of what he said to understand that he's basically another person trying to claim a piece of divinity.
Yeah.
For their opinions, their movement, their political will. And you cannot have someone in a position of power in a democratic country that believes they are acting on the will and being chosen by a divine being.
Right.
You can believe that stuff exists, but we can't have actions be taken because someone thinks they are the incarnation of Moses. Come on.
And this is the same guy that just suggested blurring videos of faces of the Jan 6 footage to protect people from being prosecuted, which is it's obstruction of justice because they all broke a law. and he wants to help them not get prosecuted.
Well,
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my
it's
life.
funny because the pandering to that decision that I've heard from people on the right is, well, they're trying to protect the undercover agents. You're the one that says the undercover agents are the ones that caused this. So wouldn't you want them to be exposed? That's number one. Number two,
exactly.
the FBI and CIA have already scrubbed these videos thoroughly. So they know everyone that's on it and isn't, at least from a visual perspective.
Right.
The only thing left to do with this raw footage is misinterpret it for your own twisted way of changing history to say that it wasn't an insurrection, or to participate in help looking for these people and tracking them down. One of the greatest groups ever on the internet is Sedition Hunters. They literally scour this footage all the time and try and track down who these people are. And their work has led to arrests, indictments, and justice for people that tried to overthrow the government. So Tanya Bishop and Curtis Davis lunge at police during the Capitol riots on January 6, 2021. The couple now faces felony and misdemeanor charges. Criminal complaint filed in the District of Columbia. Another one, simple enough. These people were flashing white power symbols in someone's office where they are not allowed to be. Their claim is that they are the people and the people own these offices so they could do what they want. You can't. That's not how it works. So Mike Johnson is trying to further his agenda, Christian nationalism, by aiding in the burying of evidence and the burying of the attempt to prosecute people who tried to overthrow a democracy, which is what he and his ilk are doing via an ongoing coup with things like Project 2025. It's
funny.
It's not that hard.
Eric Swalwell's really been saying a lot lately that the insurrection continues. We've been saying that from the beginning. It's never stopped. Jan 6 was just the beginning of it.
That was a lot of part of me thinks that it wasn't an oops and didn't succeed in the sense that it was like, that's all we had, let's try again. I think they've always had grander plans and different pathways. And I think what that was the first physical wave, because they had the stooge in office and that was their last attempt. So they put out wave one of the dumbest and the most easily manipulated. And they saw what happened, so that if it failed, maybe everyone kind of pulled back a little bit, which is exactly what's happening. People are pretending that was the only attempt. It's not. It's still on.
Exactly. And I'm glad it's being said now in the halls of Congress. At least somebody's saying it.
It is.
Besides us. You know what I mean? We don't have much of a following, so we can only say it to a few people. But all right, so another thing that happened is it was so important. They decided to start the investigation. They voted to start an investigation, or was it the beginning of the impeachment? The investigation into the impeachment with no evidence whatsoever. And James Comer goes on CNN with Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper laughs in his face. It is so funny. And just I've noticed recently, and James Comer, the more excited and like if he gets cornered, the squeakier he gets. Just watch. He'll be super high pitched at the end. What?
My other question is just, isn't something better than nothing? Why not just jump at the opportunity to grill Hunter Biden on national television? Here's your chance. You know, you're the dog that caught the bus. Here it is.
This isn't about politics. It's not about theater. My job, I know the media, and I like you, Jake. I know the media would like to have a big public show, and that would be very entertaining. But my job is not to entertain.
Public show. Yes, it's me.
Right. My job is not to entertain you all. My job is to get the truth. When you have income, so we think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. We think there are many more crimes, and my concern is that Weiss may have indicted Hunter Biden to protect him from having to be deposed.
Yes,
in the House Oversight Committee on Wednesday.
He indicted him to protect him. Yes, the classic rubric. He indicted him to protect him. I got it.
Well, look, this whole thing's been about a cover-up. You know, you've got two.
That's why he indicted him to protect him, to cover it up.
Well, you indict him on the least little thing, the gun charge, and not paying taxes.
He's facing like 17 additional years in prison.
Yeah, but look what he's
felonies.
done.
Hold on.
That last one.
We got 2.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, we indicted Hunter Biden to protect him. That's the plan. You broke it, James Comer. You got it right this time.
Like these aren't serious people. Come on.
How are they paid this much, man? Come on. They don't do any work. They've actually been labeled the least productive Congress since what? Herbert Hoover?
And they have free healthcare.
Yeah, government pay, government benefits. They're enjoying all that socialism. And now we're on vacation. It was so important and so important to get this started, this investigation, that they voted on it and then they went home.
My favorite reaction to that, because I never saw the video until you showed it me earlier while we were setting up the show. But I had kind of like read a little bit about it, mostly because of Trump's response. He made a comment. I do not remember where it was, but his comment was, how come I didn't get the benefit of an impeachment inquiry? I almost soiled myself because he can't stop indicting his own intelligence. You didn't get the benefit of it because they didn't need to lie to pretend that they can hopefully try and impeach someone. They could impeach you, so they did. The Republicans are fabricating this in a way to try and screw Biden to help you win. You didn't benefit from it because you actually did it.
He keeps posting on True Social. Why didn't they indict me 3 years ago? Dumbass, you were still committing crimes 3 years ago.
but you know what's funny?
What the hell?
That you say that is an additional indictment on his understanding of the legal world, because he doesn't understand that they would put a case against Biden immediately because it would be a fake case and they don't have evidence. When you try to impeach or when you try and prosecute a president, which is the greatest undertaking in this country's history, you have to do an investigation, secure the evidence, ensure you have a case, have grand juries, build the come on, you have to actually go through the process. It's not bullshit. He doesn't understand that because he's like, well, we would just do it because we would do it. No.
That's a perfect segue, because our next topic is Captain Dipshit himself,
the
Trump.
grifter in chief.
So yeah, he's having a rough week. He got gagged, which I think he should be used to. Honestly, he should get used to being gagged, because if he does go to prison, he'll be gagging a lot. Anyway, so now this guy, he can tell he's running out of money.
Oh yeah.
But oh, do I have the Giuliani video? I'm about to see if I have the Giuliani video. I think I do. We might play it in the next episode. All right, so Donald Trump is now selling his suit. He has new NFT cards, man. He's selling a piece of his suit. He claims it's the suit that he wore during the mugshot, even though in this video he looks like he's wearing that suit, which would be hilarious if he was like, oh, I just wore this suit today. Like, sir, that's the one you ordered in the mugshot.
He only has one. He's that creepy person that everything in their closet is identical.
Right. So guess what? If you buy all 47 cards, digital cards, they're not physical cards. You don't actually pick them up and hold them. And they're just, we already know the routine. It's just Donald Trump's head on whatever. If you buy all 47 of them at $99 a piece, comes out to roughly $4,700. So yes, for $4,700, you get a piece of his suit. And you get to have dinner at Mar-a-Lago, which I'm probably 100% certain that travel is not included in that $4,700. I'm pretty sure that's just
wait a minute.
To get in the door.
Is that at the Mar-a-Lago that he just said in a speech that we don't let a lot of people here because we have important documents everywhere?
Yeah, I believe it's the same one where we have the video. We have the same video where he's telling rich people he's giving tax cuts to. But let me show the actual ad. This is Donald Trump's ad on Truth Social.
God.
Fucking hell. Oh, sorry, my language. This is so funny.
No, that's appropriate.
Everyone, this is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. My last 2 Trump digital trading card collections sold out in just hours. And now I'm back with my latest series called the Mugshot Edition. I wonder where that came from, the Mugshot Edition. Cards, and here is the best part. I'm doing 2 important things for my Trump collectors. For the first time, we're creating a real physical Trump card. Purchase 47 digital cards and we'll mail you a beautiful trading card It is an authentic piece of the suit I wore when I took that now famous mugshot, and it was a great suit, believe me, a really good suit. It's all cut up, and you're going to get a piece of it. I'll be autographing some of them. A true collector's item. This is something to give to your family, to your kids and grandchildren. With the purchase of 47 of the Trump digital trading cards, you will also be invited to join me for a gala dinner at my beautiful Mar-a-Lago, my home in Florida. You've perhaps heard of
it. And then, yeah, we have other things going on besides that. CNN and New York Times report the disappearance of 2,700 pages of classified material, causing alarm in U.S. intelligence circles.
It's a really great suit.
It's a really great suit. You gotta love that. I'm sorry, I should have stopped for a second to talk about that because I was laughing my ass off during the whole thing. It's a really great suit, but I swear to God, it's the same.
I got nothing.
He wears the same suit every day. It's not the suit from the mugshot.
If
he went home and put that in the closet, and then they had this idea. He's like, "Let me get a suit out of the closet." It's not like he wore got the suit, went and took the mugshot and went home.
If anyone
that suit, mugshot suit,
if anyone would like again to donate,
so dumb.
We will get one of those. Okay, I am serious, and I'm. For the sake of history,
would love to be.
If we could raise the money to get that piece of suit, I promise you, Jeremy will wipe one of his dog's butts with it.
Absolutely,
and we will video it. And we will send it to Donald Trump.
Dude, I swear to God, like I love how he says it was a great suit. Like he always has to do that.
It has to. It's the best suit. You've never seen a more beautiful suit.
Greatest.
All right, wait. We're talking about the suit, but that binder thing is actually raising alarms in the intelligence community because it was literally a dossier on the Russian intelligence of what we know about them. This isn't hyperbole. This isn't speculation. It is missing.
Yeah.
Gone.
And it was requested by the White House.
It happened like the last few days of his presidency. It's gone.
Pull that slide back up.
What happened a week or two after that? Someone in Donald Trump's circle, it might be his son-in-law, got $2 billion from the Saudis. That's weird.
Yeah. Same guy. Oh, weird. So these dots connect so easy. But I want to go back to the NFT thing because you did make a couple overlays for the NFT. I think I pulled up the binder thing by accident. I'll have to move the stuff around. I'll admit it. But Mike has a couple of the NFT cards. Go ahead and show them, Mike. They're amazing.
So
how could you resist? And these aren't even real cards. These are just digital ones that you look at on your screen.
Well, now, I want you to look at the one on the left very carefully.
Never surrender.
It's mugshot. it's the mugshot edition is what this series is. And right under it is a flag of him holding Never Surrender for the mugshot series, for the mugshot that he surrendered to get the mugshot. And then
it's so stupid. Oh my God.
Now wait.
Sorry, I had to run around the room for a second.
No, that's fine.
Hilarious.
You know what? I'm going to go back for 1 second because it's funny. It says 47th president, but according to him, he's still the current 45th president. So that's weird. Anyway.
That is weird.
We have this one, which shows him shooting electric bolts like Thor. That's pretty pagan of him, out of his hands. He's pretty muscly because that's definitely what he looks like in a suit.
And it's not even the mugshot picture.
But then they have this one, the official mugshot card. They literally just put him on a card. Put him on a card.
The freaking ego of this guy. So, all right. So we talked about the binder. We talked about the NFT cards. Let's go some videos. I got some good videos in here. So here's a good one that just popped up. This is Donald Trump at a gala with rich people telling him what he's going to do for them.
For the people.
Yes.
For the people.
I hope you enjoy. This came out just recently as well, and you've seen it on our show.
Because you're all people that have a lot of money. I know 20 of you, and you're rich as hell. We're going to give you tax cuts. We're going to pay off our debt. We're going to give you tax cuts. We're going to give you tax cuts. We're going to give you tax cuts.
We're going to give you tax cuts.
Who is he giving tax cuts to?
I think I heard that right. Giving tax cuts to rich people. That's what he wants to do.
So what he's going to do is, because he also mentions paying off the debt, So what he's going to do is stop basically taking taxes from the rich by cutting them, which means he's going to take the money that we put in to pay off the national debt, which exists because they give tax cuts to the rich.
And let's not forget the reason he added 25% of the entire deficit was because of things like this, tax cuts to
The
the rich.
largest debt increase in the history of this country happened under Donald Trump directly after he gave tax cuts to the rich.
You know,
that is that is truth.
He actually gave a speech saying how the economy is doing awful and it's like going to be the worst ever. The same day that Biden had celebrated that the stock market was at record high. Like, it's so stupid how these people don't even, but they listen to Trump. That's why I was trying to tell people online earlier, we got to stop trying to convince these MAGA folks to get away from Trump. It's not happening. We need to refocus our efforts into uniting the majority because they're like 25% of the country. But the other 75% of us are so freaking scattered and so divided amongst ourselves about little tiny things we can get over if we just have more conversations. We have to refocus our efforts into getting those people to pay attention and those people to vote. And I'll show you why. I made this overlay, and this is disturbing. And this is why I decided this point of view here. Newsweek reports that Donald Trump supporters are excited about him becoming a dictator. Okay, this is quite literally democracy's last stand. This is from Donald Trump's Truth Social post. He continues to quote Hitler. This is from yesterday, last evening, I believe. And I hate reading this stuff, but I'm going to anyway. Illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation. They're coming from prisons, from mental institutions, from all over the world. Without borders and fair elections, you don't have a country. Make America great again.
This is literally the platform that Adolf Hitler had.
Exactly.
Our country is being overrun, not just from the outside, but we have to purge our pure blood. And this is where it gets real shitty. This is why it is Hitler-esque, because it's not just about the immigrants, right? He's talking about purging blood. This is the first time he actually mentions the mental institutions.
No, he's done that before.
Guess who the first people were sterilized and put in camps in Nazi Germany? It wasn't the Jews. It was other Germans. It was Germans in mental institutions. It was Germans that were gravely ill. It was gay Germans. It was not the Jews, not the, quote, foreigners that were coming in and invading. It was the people among us that don't belong among us. He's starting to even more directly, not just quote Hitler, but quote the policies that Hitler put in place that Germans agreed with because they were so afraid and so fearful.
Thank you. We have two options, okay? We can vote for Biden, and which he's trying to make. He is making things better. By the numbers, everything's better. Economy's better. The inflation's under control. Gas prices are going down. Grocery prices are going down. Everything is getting better. That's progress.
Which takes time.
Which will be done. I'm telling you, we did a whole episode on Project 2025. They are ready to implement their plan. The second Donald Trump takes his oath, the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 are off and running. And you can forget about it. Kids in cages, they talked about that. Militarizing the streets, they talked about that. Putting down protesters. Transgenderism, they want to make it illegal. They want to criminalize the LGBTQ community. What's happening in Texas, what we're going to talk about in a minute. That will be nationwide. You won't be able to travel to another state to get an abortion because there will be no states to get an abortion.
What's extremely scary is it's hard for people to understand because economics is boring as shit. But at the beginning of a presidency, in the first couple of years of a presidency, are directly impacted by the previous administration because things don't happen overnight, because you have to realize how big and massive and complex everything is. It goes in waves. So right now, with a year left to election day, the economy is starting to show the signs of recovery that Biden has been trying to do for the previous couple of years. If Trump wins in 2024, it is the end of democracy for a number of reasons. But the scariest part is he and his team of scumbags and propagandists will point to the benefit that we will be seeing in the next couple of years as proof that Donald Trump appearing in office magically has saved us. And that will be because no one will ever think past that ever again. They will go, "That's it worked. That's it.
So-
Goodbye."
All right. So before I go into the next Trump video, I just want to take a step back. I have the Giuliani clip where he comes out and is talking, and you can tell by his voice that he is crushed. The funny part in this video, listen, he says, "I have all this evidence that's going to come out." Like, what? You just went through trial. What the hell are you talking about? I know, right? You should have showed it, dipshit.
That's what trials are for.
All right, so let's watch this.
Very little I can say right now. I have to analyze this. Obviously, possibly we'll move for a new trial. Certainly we'll appeal. The absurdity of the number merely underscores the absurdity of the entire proceeding, where I've not been allowed to offer one single piece of evidence in defense, of which I have a lot. So I am quite confident when this case gets before a fair tribunal, it'll be reversed so quickly that it'll make your head spin. And the absurd number that just came in will help that, actually.
Why did you choose not to testify?
Why do you think it was unfair? You say it was an unfair tribunal. Why do you think it was unfair?
We gotta go, sir. Let's go. I cannot go into the details. I didn't testify because the judge made it clear that if I made any mistake or did anything wrong, she was considering contempt. And this judge does have a reputation for putting people in jail. And I thought, honestly, it wouldn't do any good.
So what you're saying is you were afraid.
Like, shut up, dude.
You were afraid that you couldn't stop defaming the people that are suing you in your argument for your own defense. So you chose not to because you could use that as leverage. You got to look at the language of this guy. This is exactly what Trump's doing. You're in a trial. You didn't testify. You presented no evidence to prove any proof whatsoever.
None.
And yet you're saying I wasn't allowed to do it, but the whole trial was waiting for you to do it. Then this is the part that scared the crap out of me. He didn't say we'll get a more fair jury. We'll get a more fair tribunal. Now this is pure conspiracy theory, and it isn't. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe that all of these higher echelon monstrous scumbags were all part of the discussion on how to move forward after a successful January 6th. Because after a successful January 6th, we wouldn't have a Supreme Court. We would be under a martial law the entire time, because the only way you control a population under a dictatorship is with direct control of the military. And what happens then? You have military tribunals. And those are where your show trials show up. And that's where Rudy Giuliani, they would put him on trial in front of a tribunal and somehow find him magically innocent.
Yeah.
So watch out for the language of these people.
I think the only hope he has is to stretch the appeal out and try and he's going to try and stretch this out and hope Donald Trump gets elected. And then
that's all they're doing. All of
you know what I mean? I wonder now, though, since the one judge shot down Donald Trump's presidential immunity claim, and Freeman and Moss just won against Giuliani, I wonder, can they sue Trump now?
Yes. Well, how about this? You could sue anyone you want if their lawyers can find actual proof.
But there's precedent now that he didn't have presidential immunity because he was slandering people. That's outside of presidential immunity.
You know what the thing is? It's an unprecedented
He did the
case,
same
so-
thing. He spread the same lies, Rudy Giuliani, all over the place. with
I
these
guess
people. He
what would
ruined their
happen
lives.
is
she couldn't get a job at Chick-fil-A because of this. And you want to tell them they deserve every penny of that. I hope they live the rest of their lives good. They
It would be
deserve every
interesting
penny of it.
because what we're doing now in trying to prosecute these offenders is set the precedent so we can more easily know how bad it can get in the future if these things start to happen again. So everything that's happening, Trump being said by a judge to have committed insurrection, this type of defamation case against Giuliani, these are setting precedent. So a case that builds off precedent just reinforces precedent. So if they can bring a case that they think they can win that shows due to a true insurrection led by a president, the blah, 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 yeah, maybe they could. And then that would reinforce the lower precedent. Yeah, that's how we protect democracy. So I hope they do.
Anyway, I have this video of Trump giving some of his latest speeches. He's not well. I don't care what anybody says. This guy's not mentally well. if you're all there mentally, you don't go around bragging that you took a fucking cognitive test. I'm sorry, it's so stupid. But
I could recognize shapes.
I know, right? Bird. That's a horse.
Happy to hear. Our great football player is going to be happy to hear this. I took a physical and I passed with flying colors, and I took a cognitive exam. I said, doctor, give me anything you want. I want to take. With your vote by Christmas, and we're going to have it by Christmas 2024. That's just shortly after the election. Because of the momentum of our victory, we will have a U.S. economy roaring back, and in 2025 we'll have one of the greatest economic years this nation has ever recorded. We will have a U.S. economy. Waited, and then they saw I was running, and they waited, and then they saw I was hot, and they filed lawsuits. These are very dishonest people. That's called election interference. And now they're fighting like hell because they want to try and get a guilty plea from the Supreme Court of the United States, which I can't imagine because you have presidential immunity.
It's so stupid. I had presidential immunity.
A guilty plea from the Supreme Court.
Right, that's not what's happening. He doesn't even understand what's happening. They're just ruling on whether he has presidential immunity. If they say yes, then it means Biden also has presidential immunity to do whatever the hell he wants.
And then he could just stay president.
Exactly. So there's really no way they can say that you had presidential immunity. I mean, if they want to, they can. But then
if they rule that way, then the inquiry of Biden's impeachment has to go away by law.
Everything has to go away. Everything. The impeachment, the Hunter Biden stuff, like all of it has to go away. So yeah, this won't. So I understand why Jack.
Also, the Supreme Court is not going to do that. They might.
I was worried at first, and actually, Kavanaugh 25 years ago did a paper or wrote an article on this in some kind of legal magazine where he says that the president does not have absolute immunity, especially after office. So he has to kind of side with himself. He wrote that paper.
What people don't understand about the Supreme Court is it is an interpretation of the cases brought before them on the backdrop of legal precedent. They aren't just reading the Constitution and going, yes, based on the exact words in the Constitution, I don't think this works. They're looking at the cases that have come before every Supreme Court that involve the topic in which the lawsuit is brought. Yeah. They are not going to say that the president is immune, because once you do that, you have a king, and you would then, not that I'm saying anyone would take it, but you would then give the ability to Joe Biden to say, okay, well then I'm going to arrest Donald Trump and execute him.
Right. And I'm going to get away with it. That's so dumb. It's so dumb.
They're not going to rule that because they're not going to rule themselves out of existence. That's the other thing.
Right. Then he could just start making laws, and he could put himself, he could put Obama in for third term if you want.
There's checks and balances. If you say that the president is immune from every law in the land, you are saying that one person in one office has more power than the other two branches. Exactly. You can't, because I know MAGA doesn't understand this, but we have three branches of government, and they exist to balance each other so that one group doesn't have all the power.
Exactly.
So they can't rule against it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not going to win. So I understand why Jack Smith took it all the way to the top right away just to cut.
He outplayed him.
Dude's from The Hague, bro. You can't mess with Jack Hague. Or Jack Hague. Jack Smith, he's from The Hague.
We should call him Jack Hague for his
International Criminal Court. I mean, he's tried war criminals. Trump ain't shit. He's just a dumb asshole to Jack. He's probably laughing at him. He's probably in his room like right now going, this guy's so stupid. Just checking off all the evidence he's giving him.
Yep.
All right, so last topic. We're already in an hour.
Not the fun
unfortunately, is not a fun topic. Actually, one that pisses us both off. Texas woman has to flee her home state just to get a life-saving abortion. Let me play the video. Or actually, you know what? Go ahead and go over to the overlay you made first.
Well,
the video.
I want to go over this overlay because it's about what's happening in Texas, not specifically this case. But I do want to point out one thing before we go into it. The right has hijacked the message that there are only a certain group of people that want abortions. People that hate babies, blood drinking Democrat, so whatever. But they want you to believe that the average American, someone who wants a family, won't get an abortion. If you look at the statistics, which I know offends Republicans, the majority of women who seek abortions are women who already have children or who are starting to try and build a family and for medical reasons have problems. So the average abortion is done by people who you think don't want abortions.
Yeah.
So before we play the video, I just want to
And
give you a
I
context.
just want to add, as a single parent who raised 2 kids with just the help of his mother or my mother or their grandparents, like, this world is cruel and hard. And bringing a kid when you're not ready into this world is almost, to me, more punishment. And in a lot of cases, I think abortion is mercy. It's definitely not murder. I think that, and honestly, this whole, I got to say it, a heartbeat is not life. Okay. Without consciousness, without the mind, without the brain firing its neurons, a heartbeat is worthless. You can't have one without the other. You have to have a heartbeat and consciousness to have human life. Before that, it's just a pump, pumping blood throughout an organism. It's not even a baby yet when it's a full brain and stuff, and nobody's getting abortions in the 9th month. And nobody's damn sure getting abortions in the 10th month, which Donald Trump continues to say, yeah, they're having babies. And then they're going, that's an ugly baby, kill it. That's not what happens, okay? Nobody wants to have an abortion, especially one in the 3rd trimester. The statistics are so low, like what, less than 1%?
It barely happens. Like, we're talking like barely ever happens.
The faux outrage, and all you're doing is you're turning America to a forced birth nation. You're not pro-life, you're forced birth.
And they always say, well, instead of killing the baby, let them be born. There's always adoption. Guess what? There are so many kids in the adoption system, and rich people like to get foreign babies because it's fun for them. And 2, no one's adopting the kids in our system. So if you want to put your money where your mouth is, pro-life people, and by pro-life, I'm being sarcastic because you're really pro-forced birth people. If you want to go be the savior, you're welcome. But before the video, it's not. You got to see what's happening around the central laws. So they basically made it illegal for a woman to have an abortion because it was the medical reason that could put the mother at risk due to a dead fetus inside of her. If that's not enough of a reason, well, guess what? That was overturned. So what's happening alongside that? In Morton County, commissioners in this rural Texas county that borders New Mexico on Thursday, and this was in September, gave their unanimous blessing to a legally dubious policy that effectively outlaws travel on its local roads to seek an abortion. This is a quote. This ordinance would close some of the loopholes that exist in this fight, Dickinson said. It's saying the roads and the airport could not be used for abortion trafficking into New Mexico.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So they're creating a crime and then trying to stop people from committing a crime that doesn't exist.
Right. And
that's how it spreads.
We've expressed on the show several times that the only opinion a man should have on abortion is a woman has the right to choose to do with her body as she pleases. That's really the only opinion a man should have. So Ken Paxton can eat a bag of dicks, basically, for what he's doing to these poor family. Let me play the video of her, and yeah, we'll go from there.
We're going through the loss of a child. There's no outcome here that I take home my healthy baby girl, so it's hard, just, grief. I think forcing me to continue the pregnancy and the pain and suffering put me through the risks of continuing the pregnancy, the risks of childbirth again, especially given how my last 2 went. I think it's cruel.
That is Texas resident Kate Cox talking to us last week, just hours after a state court ruled that she could have an emergency abortion in an exception to the state's near total abortion ban. But now the state Supreme Court has put a hold on that decision after the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, threatened to prosecute anyone who helped her get an abortion.
Again, they want to enact something that will screw their own agenda. If she could be sterilized, then you don't have another person pumping out babies for your little pro-birth army. They
This
don't.
this, I mean, I hate to say it, but this may turn out to be good, may come out of this, because this woman did not want an abortion. They never talked about having one. She needed one because either the baby was already going to die and be born dead, or die shortly after being born, or it could kill her. She had already been to the emergency room several times as from complications, or she could be sterilized and never be able to have children again. And they did want to have children again. This is the exact scenario that actually needed to happen to hopefully let some of these pro-life people go, wait a second. This is not what we've been talking about. I hope that some of them snap out of it. I hate to say it that way, but hopefully some good comes out of this scenario.
You always say that we share a same brain, and it's funny because I made a note when we watched this video before the show, and it's something that I hate to say. It sounds insensitive, but it needs to be said, and it reminds me of what you just brought up. Just like the only way we will ever know how prevalent and devastating rape is to women is if women speak up, and we know why they don't, because they're ridiculed and it usually torments them and their life is shit for the rest of time, on top of the fact that they were raped. We unfortunately need more women who are suffering under these evil laws to come forward and show everyone that isn't just the wild swinging liberal woman that wants to be free with their body. No, that woman and her family have a family. They wanted to grow their family. And because it could kill her, leaving their children without a mother, and they want this woman to give birth to a dead baby, she's not allowed to get an abortion. Tell me who that does. Who is that serving? What good does that do? It doesn't serve the mother. It doesn't serve the family. It doesn't serve the siblings. It serves no one but people who are soulless and trying to force women to have birth because their bullshit belief systems, they believe it tells them to do that they have the right to force women to die just for the chance they're going to give birth to a dead baby.
All right. Before we close out, let me just point out a couple of things. That Ken Paxton could be the Attorney General of the United States if Donald Trump gets elected, which means this insane abortion policy will be implemented. Not could be, will be implemented nationwide. On day one, I promise you that it's going to be awful. These guys are ready to hit the ground running. They got the Heritage Foundation behind them. They've got Project 2025 all mapped out. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're ready to hit the ground running as soon as Donald Trump takes the oath. Okay, they want to ruin this country. They're going to ruin democracy. This is democracy's last stand. Like I said on the previous one, there is no other opportunity to show that democracy is strong by getting out and voting next year. If democracy fails, then that's just the way it's going to be. And then everybody's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I let this happen.
How did this happen?
And we'll be the ones probably in prison or hopefully doing a podcast going, I told you so.
100%.
Because they go after us leftists, you know what I mean? They hate us.
Those free speech worshiping monsters.
Yeah, so please pay attention. Some of the stuff's very in your face, but that's how we like it, because that's how it needs to be. This is the stuff that people need to talk about. And yeah, unless we get out and vote next year, we may not have a democracy anymore. Maybe a Trump dictatorship.
Ugh.
It's horrible to think about, but it could be that. That's exactly what it could be. But anything else you want to add, Mike?
We try and have fun on the show, and by fun we mean dark humor. We really do try, because it's the only way to get through this. Yeah. But sometimes the topics there's nothing humorous about it, and the dark humor is our way to channel the rage of what is happening to this country.
Yeah.
And sometimes the rage pops out. So please listen to what's going on, watch what's going on, read what's going on. We are going to do the best we can to show you what they're doing, not what could happen, not speculation, but what is actually taking place.
Exactly.
Some of it we can make fun of, some of it we can't, but all we can say is we are going to continue that fight. We have a lot of cool, ridiculous stuff that I can't believe we were able to put together coming up. So stay tuned.
So yeah, I want to thank all the podcasts we got our stuff from, our video footage from Gabe Sanchez, Young Turks, TYT, from the Megyn Kelly Show, Against All Enemies on the Meidas Touch Network, Jesse Dolomore, and others. So we would like to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We have a very big interview coming up on Tuesday with Defensive Democracy. That should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And don't forget, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We won't be on next week. We're going to take the next weekend off because of the holidays. We'll be back on the 26th after that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all we got for today, and we will talk to you soon.